Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Animosity Amateur Smite League. And today we're going to be here for another great set. I am Bloody Lifetime. Joining with me is Zombie Tantalus, and on the production is Cabbage. Now, how excited are you for this set, Zombie?
Uh, Pretty excited. I recognize a few of the names here, played, in and out with some of these guys in various leagues. Should be a solid set.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's going to be EKDT versus Menaces to Sobriety. And I don't know about you, but that is a great team name.
I'm kind of wondering what EKDT stands for. Um, we got any info?
Everyone knows Duckworthy is toxic. What a great team name with the little rubber ducky there as well.
Oh, brother. All right. Outstanding. Well, ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah, and considering that Duckworthy is on the team, and I assume, is the captain of this team, really funny thought. But, as we're going into this game, we're going to go ahead and start hopping into these picks and bans. And Zombie, what are you expecting to get banned out here early that, everyone just doesn't want to see in their games right now?
Well, you've got your major gods. You've got your Hachis, your Kukulkan, your Athena, your Bake Kujira, Bellona, Osiris. There is a host of gods that are absolutely worthy of being banned here. And even then, if any of these teams, they know each other beforehand, you can get some bans for comfort picks too.
That's true. And as we go into these bans, it is going to be a Thor that is banned out and an Athena. A good start to these bans. You mentioned the Hachi, one guy that I personally do not think should get through ever at this point is priority numero uno for picks and bans because that ADC absolutely slaps with crit right now. But they are going to ban out a Kuzenbo, which has seen a rise in popularity lately.
Yeah, and in almost any meta where you see hunters rising further and further into prominence, so too shall you see Kuzenbo. Um, he's got the reflect, he's got the displacement, he's got the CC, he's got it all. Um, Honestly, great god to pick into hunters.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And EKDT is going to ban out the Sobek, another great support. So yeah, a lot of supports banned out here early, as 3 have already been put to the wayside. Uh, at this point, what are you trying to sneak through these picks and bans as this Bologna gets banned out as well?
Well, with the Bellona and the Kuzenbo banned out, um, it seems like they're maybe trying to play through some hunters here. And with the Hachi band, you've still got some good ones up. On Her still performs very, very well right now. Rama is in a pretty good place. A lot of your hunters are in a pretty solid place right now. Bluestone hunters even are kind of seeing a comeback in the mid lane. Your Marticarises, your AMC. Great time for hunters today.
Yeah, Hunter's just in a great spot right now. It does appear that the Menaces to Sobriety are going to be picking up Bake Kojira as their number 1 pick, as it has just been unbanned here at the Animosity Amateur Smite League with this newest patch. And they're going to be grabbing it. And I apologize, we do not have the files for it. So just imagine a pretty big whale that's going to do great things in that first slot for Menaces to Sobriety.
Yeah, Bake Kujira is very strong. He does have some counterplay. There are things you can do into him. Mid Guardian Male does very well into Bake Kujira. Um, and it's not like he can be played around, but the god is so strong. His damage output's crazy. The displacement's crazy. He's got a little miniature Olo ult, going on. It just the god brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, and you mentioned this, and like it's one of my things that makes Bake so good is that he really just doesn't have to build power and do so well because his auto attacks get conversion from his protections to power. It really makes him
It won't matter.
a threat just because he can be so tanky and still do damage. And here for Ducksworthy's team, you know, they're going to be picking up the Thoth, which is one of the better mages in the meta right now.
Yeah, he absolutely is. The pin that he gets on his passive when he stacks it, the range that he's got great secure, great pressure in lane. Really only matched right now by Kukul Khan. You know, Toth is a great overall pick. Now, moving back over here, there's the Rama. I think I mentioned that a minute ago. Anhur and Rama still being up, still very solid hunters. And a Cerberus! A Cerberus, I tell you.
I like this Cerberus pick into the Aphrodite because one of the things about Aphrodite is anyone that has played this game knows that she is known for her healing. Well, Cerberus gets to cut that in half and take a good, bit for himself. So just a great counter to her, able to, Thoth not having a CC immune ult, able to potentially catch him if he doesn't have beads. Now, you mentioned the Anhur earlier. Anhur is looking really good for everyone knows Ducksworthy's toxic because a CC immune ultimate to keep him safe from the Cerberus. One of the few gods that can box Rama in the throughout the game, especially in the early game, while Rama is waiting for that huge power spikes. And we see the Kukul Khan band out. 3 bands left. Where were you expecting to see, Zombie?
I definitely kind of expected to see Kukul Khan picked up on the side of Menaces to Sobriety. That Cerberus pick kind of shocked me. I do like it, and it is a great counter matchup. I just wasn't quite expecting it. So, they're banning out other strong mid laners here for EKDT. Marticarus doing a lot right now. I think Menaces to Sobriety, there's not a lot of mid picks left that can compete with Toth.
I have to agree with you. As and now this Hades is locked in. This guy going to be going into the solo lane Aphrodite supporter. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Hades, one of those guys that does so well at setting up for your team, able to do a good chunk of damage, able to heal, able to, set up in that Pillars of Agony, vortexing in your opponents to set up for that Thoth, to set up for that Anhur. Could be a very strong pickup here. As on the flip side, they're going to pick up a Chiron for Menaces of Sobriety, and that is going to be a Chiron mid. You talked about those Bluestone Hunters earlier.
Take pleasure in
and
the crushing
one of them that you
one's
didn't mention was this Chiron, as he has started to see resurgence and see play there as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the god is safe. He's got a great escape on that dash. He's got excellent kill confirm ability with the 2 very long range ult, provides a little bit of healing. He's got a cleanse on his 1. The god can bring a lot to a team if he's being played right.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that is ability to just confirm, as you mentioned, that skill shot, that we call skill, because if you hit any of your other abilities, it's going to hit. But as we go towards these final 2 picks, these jungler picks, we're going to see a Ravana picked up for Menaces to Sobriety and EKDT picking up the Wound bots. And I gotta say, right now, EKDT's draft is scary with these double circles of Hades and Wound bots. if you don't have beads, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to fight into. Now, on paper, Menaces to Sobriety, they've got the right picks. You've got the Rama, you've got the Ravana locked in, who is one of a couple of assassins that can really engage on and stick to a Toth. You've got the Cerberus for the healing. You've got the Bake Kujira for the displacement. Like, on paper, I like the Menaces to Sobriety draft. The EKDT draft goes very hard, and I don't feel like you make a draft like this if you're not confident in your ability to play it.
I have to completely agree with you. You know, one of the things between these two teams is if you look at these drafts, you can see how terrifying EKDT team is with how much synergy they have between each other and how well they can do if they can play these gods properly as a team. But you mentioned Menaces to Sobriety have a lot of good picks to counter engage and kind of deal with this team a little bit. You know, they have the Cerberus for the anti-heal for the Afro and the Hades. They have the Ravana who can stick to this Thoth. They have a Chiron that can stay in the back line and has a CC immune ult to deal with the Hades and the Hun bots as well. Even if he dies in the ultimate, as long as he gets a kill with his ult, with the Centaurus ultimate, he will come back to life. And, Rama has the Astral Barrage to avoid Hades ult and all the damage from it, and to get away from Hunbat's ultimate if he times it right. And the whale, you mentioned the displacement and just how much he can, really slow down the enemy team with that Olorun-like effect. And so they have a lot of the pieces of the puzzle to fight against this draft EKDT, but it's really just going to come down to how this plays out.
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage that EKDT are going to have here is that they've got an excellent dive comp and they've got the best secure on the map. Chiron is not even in the same ballpark as Toth in terms of securing these objectives. So if EKDT play this dive comp right, it's going to be a game.
Yeah. And one thing that I have seen lately on the Thoth is picking up Boombas to actually confirm that secure so much more, as well as to get a big heal back off of securing Fire Giant and Gold Fury. It's something that I've been seeing nichely picked up that could really punish Menaces to Sobriety if they try and engage on him. He's still able to secure a Fire Giant. But we can talk all we wish, but let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 and see how this all plays out.
You mentioned that Boomba's pickup on Toth. Didn't I see that with you last week?
I did not play Thoth last week. Otherwise, it would be the case. But I did really consider picking it up on my Scylla, though.
Oh, I was talking about a game we casted because I'm
Oh,
pretty
yes.
sure that's where I saw that at. And, I talked about it at the time and it was like, this is kind of tech. I mean,
Yeah.
it checks all the boxes. It's got all the stats that you want, you know what I mean? And the extra damage to the objectives. That was tech.
Yeah, we saw that on another cast here. And it was really interesting because we saw the Thoth go down to a quarter HP, getting dove on by the enemy team, and he doesn't even care that he's getting face tanked by the jungler, uses his ult to secure, and goes back to full HP. It was one of the craziest things I ever seen.
What was it, 14, 1500?
Yeah.
Just absolutely absurd. Nowhere else in the game do you get a heal number like that.
But the Thoth does not pick it up. However, we do have a potential for that upgrade of Boombas on the Hoon Bats, but I'm expecting him to pick up the Boomba's Hammer that gives him the true damage off auto attacks after using an ability, rather than the one that really gives you that ability to slay those camps and Gold Fury and Fire Giant.
Yeah, and that can be really big moving into your like later phase of the game for sure. Bake Kujira is going into the support role here, which I'm a little surprised about. Um, I kind of thought he was more of a solo laner.
That was my thought as well, but you gotta give them credit for the Menaces Sobriety though, moving the whale over to support. This Cerberus of Noho Solo should have a fun time into this Hades of Dr. Delph, having the Cerberus passive, decreasing his healing by 50%, as well as taking half of 50% of that 50%, so 25% of it for himself, but
Yeah.
also picking up Tainted Steel, so decreasing that healing even more. It's going to be really hard for Dr. Delph to heal in this lane whatsoever.
Well, I think at the end of the day, he's still going to be able to heal. It's a Hades. Like he should have pressure in that lane. I do really like the tainted pickup though, because as the game moves forward, once we hit that level 20 area, that item is going to go huge when you're fighting into a team that has Aphrodite and a Hades.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you there. It's going to be one of those items that can really sway those late game team fights. Speaking of these items that really stand out, one thing that I have to note is, what do you think about this on her picking up the mace?
Yeah, there's been without a pro league to you know do all of the theory crafting for us and give us builds. People have had to come up with their own builds. There's several that are running around right now, and the mannequins build is one of them. And with the addition of attack speed into the mannequin scepter, it works.
Yeah, and now Integrity getting rotated on by Dr. Delph and Face uh, is going to be
What a
able to get a
stun!
slip away. A great stun by Noho Solo to save his Ravana. Otherwise, Face Tat looked like he's going to be able to find a kill there.
He
All right.
absolutely could have, and I'm 90% sure he absolutely does if Cerberus doesn't land that stun. Uh, that was great from Cerberus there.
Yeah, and that stun is not an easy one to hit, as Cerberus only hits on the very close to him and the very far with those snakes line, but a lot of damage on this left side, as it looks like this on her is taking a lot of damage. But no, it's the Afro going down to one. Astro Barrage up. She's going to be able to immune the second one, but it doesn't matter. Zaku's going to find the first blood. Now on her trying to find a return kill, but is unable to. The whale strikes Zakari with a kill, and that is two going the way of Mrs. Sobriety in this duo lane.
All right, somebody needs to get a harpoon and call Captain Ahab, because that was I don't ever want to see that again. The whale just went nuts. Rama was able to dash out of that with what had to be under 40 health, and the whale turns and gets the second kill anyway. That's insane.
Yeah, and one thing we have to give credit to is Zaku on that Rama hitting all three shots of the Asperage and being able to wait out the Clay Storm's ultimate and his safety, able to still pick up the kill on the Afro through complete damage immunity. Just a great bit of patience and a great bit of aim, especially being able to hit that small target on that last shot.
Yeah, that was great play. Although Bats is looking.
Face Tat is lurking and he blinks in. Big ultimate, but Zaku does have the beads. It is going to live with 1 HP, but the whale is coming in behind this on her. Gonna get a pull, and this on her is low. Astral Barrage up again, is just off the mark, just out of range. He's going to be able to jump away and slip away with just a sliver of HP here. But right now, Face Tat still lurking. He wants the teleport, is going to hit it, but not going to risk the teleport in. Could have found that kill if he clicked it fast enough before it hit the second bastion. But with that, Zaku can be able to survive and make it back to base.
Yeah, I like the restraint there from Face Tat. You know, you're 5.5 minutes into a game. A TP into tower, yeah, you probably secure the kill, but there's also a really good chance that you end up trading your own life for it. So I really appreciate that restraint.
Yeah, and a big beats off of Dr. Dilf. This Cerberus and Noho Solo really wanted to pull Dr. Dilf under the tower. Now trying to run him down, take him down to about half. And that Pillar of Agony is going to come out just for the procs and clear the wave. Now we flip over to this duo side. Robin going to get a nice route, slow down this Afro, slow down that movement speed of this team of EKDT. There is 4 here, and there is no mid laner in the sight for Menaces Sobriety as the Chiron's going to rotate back mid. They're going to lose their purple and lose some XP and farm here due to just EKDT able to push in off of that defense of their purple buff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not much else to say about it. EKDT brought 4, and Menaces to Sobriety had 3. It's not good math if you are hoping to keep your jungle buffs.
Yeah, but right now, Menaces Sobriety still have a 1,000 gold lead through this early game and able to, just hold their own and, extend this lead just a little bit after finding those 2 kills. And, one thing that I find really interesting to see as this season kind of progresses is just how much the supports are staying in lane compared to how they used to. Because I'm so used to supports rotating out at 5, and now they're staying in lane for significant periods of time. Is this on her taking a lot of damage from this Rama, doing everything he can just to keep him in this lane, not let him back so that he can lose out on as much farm as possible.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't hate the use of the ult there from Rama just to force on her to stay in lane there, because that's going to be 2 waves that end up going into that tower. That's a pretty decent chunk of gold on her is going to lose for it.
Yeah, I mean, an entire wave is not a small or insignificant amount of gold or XP, and couldn't change the difference of a half level to a full level. They're gonna find a kill on this solo side. The bats highly considering about rotating and teleporting over, but not going to be able to do it fast enough. Not wanting to teleport into 3. A disgusting rotation from both the support and the jungler there.
Yeah, you know, I'm really interested to see how Bake Kujira is going to play throughout the game. You know, obviously I've seen him in casuals. I saw him on the PTS. Haven't seen him in ranked yet because he's always banned. But I'm going to be interested to see how Bake performs in comp. You know, I mentioned on the desk that there are options to build things like Midgardian Mail into him that are going to slow him a lot. I like to see it.
Yeah, and a big blink in from this Wind No beats out of Zaku, but it's going into the Astral Barrage, trying to make it rain down on this on her. Gonna be able to hit him for a good amount of damage, but it is going to be Zyzax able to just walk away here. And now Bats and the Whale having a bit of a fun time fighting. And this team of Menaces and Sobriety going deep into this jungle as Integrity going to be able to strip away the purple buff from EKDT there as well.
Yeah, that's pretty big. You know, Ravana is sitting on a pretty solid lead right now.
Yeah. And now Integrity forced to fight both a Bats and an Afro with a Thoth rotation, taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to ult out of here in order to survive. Mystic Rush going to come out. And the Centaurus out of Rehum going to be able to do a lot of damage. Face Tap might be in trouble here, but a good kiss from the Aphrodite going to stun out Zakari and not allow Face Tap to meet his maker.
Yeah, and you know, with your supports and your guardians like Bake, like Charon, you know, Ares in some cases even, you have to respect that damage.
Ooh, a good stun right after the beads. Not going to be able to find the kill, but is going to force Dr. Delph out of this lane.
Yeah, it's enough. You know, the Cerberus is playing this solo lane great. That was really the only phase of the game I was kind of worried about for him, just due to Hades having the pressure that he does. But he's playing this very well, forcing Hades out. This Cerberus may be a monstrosity in the late game.
Yeah, and one of the things to note is that this Hades, as all Hades do, is building damage. Having built Warlock Staff and is building into Divine Ruin, the thing that terrifies me for the sake of Dr. Delph, just for the laning phase, this Cerberus has no power. He has Genji's Guard and is building into what appears to be a breastplate as this fight is going to get picked up on this left side. Integrity lurking in the shadows, able to blink in, going to force up beads off Zyzax, and a good kiss might be able to save him, but it is going to be a chase down now. He is forced to come back to Zaku. Zaku can be the one that finds the kill as a good rotation from Integrity, and a good blink in is going to find the kill onto Zyzax of that on her.
Yeah, I think they may be looking to pull gold here. They're going to need to be careful with this pull because Bake is not healthy.
Yeah, and Thoth is here. He is in range to potentially steal this. You can hear him hovering it. They move it, and he does hit it. EKDT with the steal. A great steal by Dugsworthy, and Dr. Delph on the teleport rotation. Gonna find the kill onto Zakari. Face Tap looking for more, but he is going to find death himself. Gonna get stunned out and killed by No Host Solo of this Cerberus. A lot of damage off skill, but everyone's just going to be able to survive that and tank it up. A good trade there for EKDT, going to trade 1-for-1 and get steal the Gold Fury away, able to keep them fairly even in this game.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about that earlier. That secure from the Toth is just, it's nuts.
Yeah, as we're talking about that, NoHo Solo just running down this Hades of Dr. Delph. I thought he was going to be able to get out, but no. And now Integrity chasing down Claystorm, knowing he has no ultimate, no safety, going to find the kill under the tower. This Cerberus of NoHo Solo keeping these healing non-existent, able to run down both the Hades and this Afro with the support of his team. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and Menaces to Sobriety have a pretty safe backline here, right? Like, your jungle is a Ravana, pretty hard to kill. Your mid's a Chiron. Your ADC is a Rama. All characters that are either relatively hard to kill or have good escape and survivability. So I'm expecting to see Cerberus and Bake just diving this EKDT backline.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing so far this game. As we see the Cerberus and the Bake just able to be wherever they want to be. And one thing to note is the Cerberus picking up Mystical Mail. So anyone close to that Cerberus is going to be taking some extra tick damage over time. And that item does have, a bit of scaling now. And Dr. Delph going to be able to get away with a little bit of HP, but a big fight over here on the left side is Zaku nowhere to go. Good Astral Barrage trying to find the kill onto this on her, knowing he has nowhere to go when he comes down because there's everyone on top of him. Bats, Afro, and on her, and it will be on her that finds the kill onto Zaku.
Yeah, Rama got caught a little out of position there. He was pushed up way too far, and EKDT rotated in and made him pay for it.
Yeah, one thing I have to give credit to Zaku for was not using his beats or his Aegis. I know so many players, including myself, just panic when we get rotated in on like that. And it can be hard not to use it. And Zizek's
Uh-oh.
jumping over the wall to try and steal the purple buff, making a massive mistake as Integrity and Zakari are right there. Man hops over and just looks at the enemy jungler and is like, oh, I'm dead, aren't I?
I am
As
in
tick, tick,
danger.
tick. 13 HP in a dream is Dugsworthy. The Bluestone not able to quite find the mark, and the final judgment just barely missing Rehum, potentially having found a kill onto him if it had hit. This Chiron of Rehum doing a lot of damage already.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the desk a little bit. The Bluestone Hunters are seeing a rise to prominence, and that's what they do. The damage output is insane. He's going trans brawlers directly into fail not. Got the Bluestone, expecting to see, Crusher, Heartseeker at some point here. He's gonna hurt.
And Bat's going to go ahead and use ult. Zakari on this whale is caught out. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out of here, as it is going to be the Desert's Fury finding its mark. Cerberus jumps to the backline, is going to pull the Afro, but not anyone else. A lot of damage off this Chiron, and a good dash able to get Dr. Delph off of him. As a second later, a big blanket pillars of agony, and that is a no-ho solo death. Is now Zaku in trouble, has forced appease and Aegis, and everyone is diving so hard on EKTT, and they're gonna find themselves another on this Rav, but Rayum skill gonna get a return kill. That's going to be 2 more going the way of EKDT, and now they're starting up this Gold Fury. And Menaces Sobriety doesn't have the secure or the ability to step up to try and defend this.
Yeah, no, you've got a couple of players dead, and there is just no way you can test that. Great fight from EKDT there, and I like what they're doing, pulling these objectives, because it's like we talked about earlier. Menaces to Sobriety do not have anything that remotely compares to this Toth secure. So these objectives are what I am looking for EKDT to be getting on here, because they'd have such a clear advantage in it.
Yeah, and EKDD really using their team advantage of being able to dive right now, forcing the Menaces Sobriety to be on this back foot as best he can. And they're just doing a good job of that, kind of trying to bring themselves back into this game. You're looking at, that shutdown that they got onto Integrity there. You know, a good chunk of gold and XP going the way of EKDT. In that fight, getting a 3-for-1 trade and getting Gold Fury, you cannot complain about that. And already another fight is going to get picked up here. And that big Doph ult, be trapped in that Pillar of Agony, that Final Judgment, going to nuke one. Zakari going to fall as well. This Doph going to find himself too. And now that beacon that looks so clearly Menaces Sobriety is going to go the way of EKDT. I don't think that just the 3 of them can step up. Is Hades to the backline, going to silence out the Serb, put him to 1 HP. And now Zizek's big damage onto Zaku. And now Facetack going to find the kill onto Zaku himself. Afro Kiss just off the mark. Otherwise, Rehum losing his life as well. 3 more kills going the way of EKDT, and they seem to be finding their stride right now.
Yeah, and this is the phase in the game where they're very strong right now. You have this Toth with a few items online. Anher's got a few items online. Hades is doing huge damage. It's a good time for them to be fighting here. let's see. So one thing I'm looking at here on the On Her build is, he opted for the Kins after going just to T2 on Odysseus bow. Now that one is a little beyond me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people like to go just the tier 2. It gives you decent attack speed. It gives you the passive of it without the full commitment of buying the full tier. You miss out on that 20% attack speed, but you still get the passive at tier 2. So that is something that people do. As Sakari gonna get caught out again, as they're gonna be forced to use the ult of face tap there. A bit unfortunate for them as it really wasn't needed, but are gonna find themselves a kill. And now with that Raven ward, knowing kind of where they are on this right side, gonna go ahead and back up as Zaku tries to split push, going to be able to take down this tier 2 over here, or at least do a lot of damage to it. But and no one seems to be rotating over here, but finally is gonna be the Thoth
Oh,
and
they
the
are
Afro
now.
rotating as he's gonna full commit.
Oh,
He is
no.
gonna take the tower. He's going to try and take this wave, but that is a Bats and a Thoth, and you know that you're going straight to the grayscale. Zaku will go down. On the flip side, it's going to be Dr. Dilf of EKDT meeting his maker, as Integrity and NoHo Solo just going to be able to W key this man.
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate for Zaku there. I said, oh no, as soon as I saw him commit that dash, which of course he can't see, the overmap like we can. He didn't know that they were coming directly on him, but man, as soon as he committed that dash and Bats jumped in, I bet he was wishing he still had it.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh no, as soon as he full committed to it. A tier 2 for your team, for your life at this stage in the game, as long as the enemy team of EKDT is not able to get any other objectives, as they're starting to stance up around this Gold Fury, it's a worthwhile endeavor because that golden XP, getting 150 gold to every player on your team for getting that tower, is incredibly valuable. But the fact that you're losing Gold Fury for this, at that point, I'm not sure if that was really worth it, as now the tides are starting to swing, as EKDT going to take the gold and XP lead here in this game number 1.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's rough about that split push is, like, you got your team some gold, but EKDT immediately take that gold right back and pull a Gold Fury. Menaces to Sobriety, like we talked about on the desk, they have the pieces, right? Like they've got the team assembled that can counter EKDT. They're just going to have to kind of slow their pace down here and fight as a unit. We had a fight a while ago where EKDT staged their ults out in turn, and that was great.
Oh, on this flip side, Aphrodite ult is going to be used as she's taking a lot of damage, and Rehum with the Centaurus going to find the mark. Bats jumps into the backline, chasing down Rehum, but is going to be able to get pushed off with the dash and with the skill. Now is going to be EKDT trying to be aggressive. FaceTat jumping in, but almost going to get blown up. Astral Barrage, and he is blown up. Gonna meet his demise as Zaku with a nice snipe. Gonna take down the Bats. And now, Menaces Sobriety might be able to pull Fire Giant with those 2 picks.
I think you still are in danger here, pulling this FG with Toth alive.
And that's why they have the Cerberus zoning so deep. But he jumps back, giving the Thoth the room to get in. This Fire Giant going down to a quarter. The Thoth is rearing up the charge, and he will steal it. Another one getting stolen by Duxworthy. This man is on a mission to steal, and he is doing it well, as NoHo Solo will jump in and get blown up. Now, with their Fire Giant, EKDT is racing forward. Gonna find the kill onto Zakari, and now Dilf gonna find the kill onto Zaku, and Raven running for his life, blinking away, trying to get out of dodge, as that Fire Giant went from a 2 kill the way of Menaces Sobriety to 3 kills in a Fire Giant steal for EKDT. Ducksworthy doing everything he can and putting his team in this game and giving them a good chance to win the game here.
I would like to say that I was surprised and I didn't see that coming, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, I have to agree, as it was an interesting call by NoHo Solo and the team of Menaces Sobriety to give the Thoth that space to where he could step up and try and ult that, as they really needed Sakari and NoHo Solo to try and stop Ducksworthy from using that final judgment ultimate, from getting that Fire Giant and stealing it away from them. And they just gave him the space and he was able to freely take it. What turned from a even game is now 6,000 XP and 5,000 gold swung in the way at EKDT after a very early and great start by Menaces Sobriety.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at that point there, what you have to do when you have no secure, you have to kill the thing that outsecures you before you pull that objective. It just, you've got great burn, right? Like between two hunters, you've got really good burn on the objective, but you have no way to secure it with that Toth on the field. They're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, and another objective going to be able to go the way of EKDT here, able to use this Fire Giant very well that they stole, able to get a tier 2 tower, able to get Pyro, now get Gold Fury, and now they're looking for this tier 2 on the duo side as well, and the tier 1 in mid, able to do a little split push here. And this is like even more gold and XP swinging heavily in their favor with every tower, with every objective that they take.
Yeah, and you know, that's what you look to do here. You clean the towers.
Yeah, and tier 2 down, and Hades jumping into the back line. Dr. Delph looking for a big ultimate, is going to find 3, but it's going to be Rayhum eviscerated by the final judgment set up by Dr. Delph. And now they're down their mid laner as EKDT looking towards this bird here are going to keep pushing him back. Its integrity is at half, and so is Zaku right now. And these autos from Zyzex doing so much damage. And Zakari living at 1 HP. This bird is going to go down whether they want it to or not. Not able to defend this as you're just taking shots to the face. And Bass jumping to the back line, going to hit a big ultimate onto Zaku. Not able to get the teleport like he wanted, but Hades blink and jump. Dr. Dilf does it again. Gonna find a kill onto Zaku. Loses his life for the cause. But right now, duo side bird is down, looking for the mid bird now as they're pushing back in, and Zyzek's gonna be caught out by the whale and its integrity finding himself a double, a shutdown his way as well. And now EKDT forced on the back foot to run away, not able to get that second bird, and it looks like the Thoth might be going down, but the great ult by the Afro is not enough as the Centaurus comes through. Aphrodite trapped in by the Cerberus ult, and that's a good 4 kills, swing back the way of Menaces Sobriety, but they have to get through a tier 2 and a Phoenix to try and end. They're not going to be able to with Dr. Delph spawning in 10 seconds.
I mean, the good news here is you do still have a hunter, right? Like, you got 2 of them. So one died, you've still got 1 left. You can still do these objectives.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about it, as beats are going to come out of Rayhum off that ultimate, but Dr. Delph knows that it's down, looking to try and get in, gonna find it, oh, gonna find 2, and the third one will fall. Now EKDT finding 3, already having a bird. Everyone's coming back up. How is Menaces Sobriety going to defend this?
Hopes, prayers, and positive vibes.
Well, the good news for Menaces of Sobriety is EKDT is going to head towards this Fire Giant. The bad news is they're heading towards this Fire Giant.
Yeah. Well, now, good news. We're at 29 minutes 30 seconds. This is not going to be EFG. So, in the world of silver linings, this is not the worst thing that could have happened.
Or is it? Because they are waiting. They are sitting here waiting, knowing that they can get this enhanced fire giant for free. The only one here is Zaku on this Rama. Astral Barrage is going to go up here shortly as they're going to try and confirm this fire giant at the last moment. Astral Barrage is early, going to miss his opportunity to steal, and that FG going the way of EKDT.
Good
Face
heavens.
does get pulled back in by the Cerberus, gonna find the grayscale. Big Centaurus doing a lot of damage on to Zyzex. 1 HP in a dream, trying to get out. Everyone at KDT's running, but Delph is jumping in. 4-man ult, but it doesn't matter when you have a Cerberus and a Whale and a Rama just going to shred you through that ultimate. And now it's a 5v3, even if the 3 have EFG.
Yeah, I don't think you look to try and end here. You have to respect the damage coming out of that Tothan on her. I do, on the other hand, think you maybe nose around for a Phoenix. Or Oni Fury. Oni Fury is good too.
I like the idea here of make sure you defend this Phoenix, but make sure you get this Oni Fury as well. It's going to really relieve the pain of these fire minions as best they can. That way you don't have to clear out these waves entirely. Maybe give you a little bit of pressure on these opposite sides. But as I said, they just have to make sure that they get this duo side bird up so they can contest the next fire giant. As right now, if I was EKDT, even though I have EFG on 2 of my carries and my support, it feels a little risky to try and step up, especially since you don't have that on everyone. And it's just a little bit difficult to really get in on these fights, as Menaces Sobriety have a really good stonewall defense thus far.
They do, and we're kind of seeing it now that Cerberus has upgraded this tainted steel. We saw it in that last fight. The heal numbers that are going up for this Cerberus while the Aphrodite and Hades are around are kind of nuts.
Yeah, just making NoHo Solo a bit unkillable here, as they're going to be looking for a good opportunity to use the Cerberus ultimate to pull in this enemy team. But we see Integrity slipping into the backline, going straight for Ducksworthy. I like the target, gonna force out a lot of abilities, and now that Cerberus with a big ult going to pull in Ducksworthy, but he is going to be able to dash out, and that is going to be 2 blown up by Zyzex in the meantime. Zakari, NoHo Solo, gone. His face tat, gone. Integrity going to find that kill on the duo side. Now it's a fight over this mid bird, and Raham with the skill taking out Dr. Dilf, but are going to lose the bird for it. And now they might lose this left bird if he does not get over there, as Miniwave is pushing in. But Rahum doing a good job making the rotation over to defend this duo-side bird, barely keeping it alive.
This is one of the most back and forth games I have ever seen. These guys just keep trading it back and forth, the momentum.
Yeah, they're so evenly matched right now. But Integrity gonna die very quickly, and they're almost gonna find the kill onto Zaku. Duo side bird will go down. Rahum trying to find the Centaurus onto the Afro. Misses. Gonna get blown up. Squeaking by with 20 HP is Rahum on a hope and a prayer. Is gonna make it out, because with that death could be in for disaster. 2 birds are down. Gonna make this EFG defense so much harder for Menaces Sobriety.
As we like to say in my ranked games, not even close. He had plenty of health there, unless anything on the map decided to breathe in his direction. This defense is going to be tough, and the unfortunate fact of the matter is that it's also going to be necessary. Menaces are going to have to play this perfectly. These waves are going to need to get pushed up. Somebody's going to have to back, because 2 fire waves pushing into your Titan can do significant damage to it. Fire's going to be up in another 30 seconds or so. This could be winding up to a climax.
I have to agree with you right now. EKDT primed to take this EFG and start hunting for the end game here. But Menaces and Sobriety are going to step up. Zakari making a mistake, stepping way too far, and that on her, and that is going to eviscerate him. 100 to 0, so quick.
Well, I said at the beginning of the game to find a harpoon and call Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab has showed up.
Yeah, Captain Ahab is here, and his name is Zyzex, and just able to blow through him, having this mannequins, having this Kinsai, and having just all this prot shred on her. Between him and this Thoth, just absolutely shredding through both tanks and carries alike. And now it's a 4v5. Zakari doesn't come up for 15, and this solo side bird already at halves almost instantly. Astral Barrage will go up as everyone is low, but not enough range or power to find any kills. And they're going to be able to force them off, but they have to contend with 2 sets of Winions that are currently on their Titan.
Yeah, and that's what makes this defense so tough. But the Phoenixes are getting ready to start coming back up. If they can get a miracle here, there's a chance.
Yeah, and right now, if this Bake can get it, he needs to get this Prophetic online to try and get some defenses. But Integrity going to squeak out with 1 HP. A great knockback by Rehum to keep his teammate alive. Is going to find a kill, but it doesn't matter because Zakari and Noho Solo, the tanks have been slain, and the base has been broken. EKDT going to wait on the mid Phoenix respawn. Plan to send it right back from its reincarnation as Zyzex jumping straight to the backline, taking so much off the Centauris, but is not going to be able to die as Integrity going to find the kill onto FaceTat, going so deep. This Titan down to half from these minions. And right now, EKDT hovering around this duo side, trying to keep these birds dead, trying to make sure that they have this base broken, where if they can find another kill, they can end this game.
Yeah, Ravana is a little up right now. We'll see.
But that Ravana is down. Scratch those notes there as Zyzex just going to eviscerate. Ducksworth going to find him on Zaku. And with that, EKDT going to be able to take game number 1 here.
Man, that second to last Phoenix fight there, something hit Ravana, and I'm not entirely sure what it was, but whatever it was, if I were that Ravana, I would be doing everything in my power to ensure that whatever that was never came anywhere near me again, because it took him 100 to near 0 just instantly. Great play from EKDT here. Great play of this comp. And, you look at the damage boards here. 45,500 from Ducksworthy. Almost 48,000 from Zixai. All right, I'm not going to try that. From the Anhur. Great play out of this comp.
Yeah, and just, overall playing really well as a team. Using that aggressive comp so well. We saw Dr. Delph getting in there, using those Pillars of Agony, and setting up for Ducksworthy and Zyzex so much. We saw so many final judgments coming through off of that setup from his solo laner, and able to use that to their advantage constantly throughout this game, able to catch out Noho Solo and Zakari, and it's really hard for a team to play without a front line. as we saw there.
Yeah, moving into this next game, uh, as we saw, Menaces to Sobriety definitely had the capability to fight. That game, there was a 10-minute period where the momentum switched probably 9 times. They were by no means out of that. However, moving into the second game of this set, while Rehum performed very well on this Chiron, I would like to see Rehum on something with some secure.
I have to agree with you, as Duxworthy was able to steal Fire Giant, steal Gold Fury, and really stabilize his team in that game with those objective steals on this Thoth. And that's one thing that they really have to consider going into this game 2 and potentially game 3 is we cannot allow them to steal these objectives. We cannot allow them to out secure us. They need a god that can get that secure or play into their team and kill them so they can't and get that zoning a bit better. It's going to be rough for them if they're not able to do one of those two.
Yeah, and we saw it so many times there. Just they could not pull the objective if Toth was alive. They just can't.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that hopefully they'll be able to make the adjustment for game number 2. And we will be taking a quick break, getting set up for that. And we will hope to see you all when we get there, when we get back to game number 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Animosity and True Smite League for this game number 2 between Everyone Knows Ducksworthy is Toxic and the Menaces to Sobriety. And, as we saw EKDT able to take game number 1, were you expecting the Menaces to Sobriety to kind of change up as we go into game number 2 here, Zombie?
So, I know what we said at the end segment there. I'm definitely looking for Menaces to firstly move into something with some secure here out of the mid lane. You tried it, and it's a problem no matter what you do, because you can ban the Toth, you can ban the Kukulkan, but that still remains a problem because there's so many mages with good secure. You're gonna have to have something to counter that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're just gonna have to see what the Menaces of Sobriety do here in this picks and bans in this game number 2. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, and it's really interesting to me that they gave EKDT first pick going into this game number 2. An interesting choice, as we're going to see an Athena and Bulky Kujira banned out quite quickly.
Fair enough. We saw what Bake Kujira is, capable of doing, and they don't want to see that. I don't blame them. By the way, we do have a pronunciation, and it is Sykes.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I was going to bring that up if you didn't. Caster's not always the most literate, but we get there. But Athena and Baki Kojira are banned out, two very strong gods, and Google Khan going to get banned out, not going to make it through the first set of bans like he did in game number 1.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Kukulkan, I feel like the last few casts that I've been doing, I talk about how much Kukulkan brings to a team. The damage, the secure, the lane pressure, the zoning. He's just so good. And, right alongside him, Hachi.
Yeah, just two gods that can absolutely carry a game. On the flip side, Menaces Sobriety banning out Thor. He got banned out the first game as well, not wanting to give that to the enemy team. And I like this ban a lot by Menaces Sobriety, banning out the Thoth, not giving Ducksworthy it back. I really like this ban as they take away one of the best secure gods in the game, and also take away a guy that clearly Ducksworthy was very confident and played very well on.
Yeah, and that's something I'll say in most comp matches. You're playing a best of 3. You have that first game to kind of play around. You ban some of your stronger meta stuff. You can leave some of the stronger stuff open. See if the other team's able to play it, and kind of test the waters. But now that we're at game 2, clearly he was very comfortable on it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, and the first pick of this game number 2 is going to be the Bologna. We saw this get banned out game number 1 by EKDT, and this time they don't ban it out. They want it for themselves. Going to be able to get it on the first pick here, and it's really going to be rough for Menaces Sobriety right now, as they get 2 picks, and they took the second pick so they could get 2 really strong picks. But what are they going to take?
Well, you've got the option here for your Anhur, your Rama. You've got the option here for Osiris. You can look to bring some pressure as well. Going back into that solo lane, I do like the Charon pickup a lot. The shield on that 2, the root that he's got, not to mention the summon sticks. It gives him the ability to perhaps keep some of his backliners alive with this Bologna dive.
Yeah, and with that, are gonna pick up
I
the
should have
on
created a
her,
world that you
not
do not
wanting to give
exist
it back to Sykesies after that game number one. And with Hachi Band on her, arguably the next best thing in the game right now when it comes to ADC. No surprise to see him picked up. Now, what I say is super interesting to me is seeing this Tiamat picked up by Duxworthy for the mid lane. It's a god that has come and gone in the last year or two in Smite, being very strong with the Book of Thoth, with Tablet Destinies when it was super strong, and now strong again, but going back to the Book of Thoth, but kind of in a weird middle ground, not having secure, but still having a lot of damage off those proc abilities.
Yeah, I do like the Tiamat. I think it definitely brings a lot to your team fight capability. Potentially maybe running that Book of Thoth tablet, breastplate build with Tiamat, who is already fairly tanky. Moving into that ground stance, you can look to do a lot with it. The Vulcan though, love it. I love it.
Vulcan is such a wild pick, especially since with the shift of the items and the decrease of power, Vulcan really not able to one-shot people with his ultimate like he used to, has become more utility based. And I've seen a lot of Vulcans upgrading the turret early on and going for these early and aggressive objectives like Gold Fury. And I kind of would really love to see that out of Menaces of Sobriety going into this game number two.
I like the pick a lot. In fact, I love it. EKDT already showed their mid pick. So, Menaces to Sobriety had that issue in the first game, right? They could not secure an objective, even if they were the ones that pulled it, even if the opposing team had 2 men down, they could not out secure Toth. Well, now Menaces to Sobriety are in the driver's seat as far as the objective secure is concerned, because that Earthshaker is going to out secure Tiamat almost every time.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, as Tiamat not going to be able to out secure that Vulcan. And another pick that EKDT had in game number one is going to go the way of Menaces to Sobriety, as now they have the on her, but they also have the one bots that EKDT had in that first game. But EKDT also having a Ganesh that can silence out a lot of Menaces to Sobriety, and a Susano, which is going to be all over this Vulcan.
Yeah, I am going to be honest. As much as I like Susano in the jungle right now, I am not sure that I like this Susano pick into the Charon, Vulcan, and on her. I kind of feel like that Susano is going to struggle to try and get at this Menaces to Sobriety backline. And, rounding out the draft with this Gilgamesh, following the Hunbats, I am loving Menaces to Sobriety's draft here.
Yeah, I definitely think that their draft this game is a lot stronger than their draft in game number one. But right now, I'm looking at this draft of EKDT, and just pen and paper, I'm leaning towards the side of EKDT. How are you feeling here, Zombie?
I'm gonna have to split it with you. I am leaning towards the Menaces to Sobriety draft here. I really, really like it.
And since we're a bit split on here, why don't you explain what you think that this team comp of Menaces to Sobriety really brings to this fight this game?
Well, I touched on the Vulcan secure over the Tiamat, so you've got that going for you. But your dive here is a Bologna and a Susano. Now, Charon has the ability to keep this on her and Vulcan alive, not to mention the Vulcan self-peel. So Susano's going to have to try and get into this backline. On her, whom can simply impale him away. Vulcan, who can drop the meatball at his feet, knock him up, and do a significant amount of damage. If Charon is able to keep on her alive, mitigate this Bologna dive, maybe even kill her, I feel like the EKDT draft just struggles.
See, and the points where I disagree with you is I think EKD's draft is pretty strong because of this Ganesh. You know, the Ohm, the immovable objects, the Dharmic pillars. They, the Menaces of Sobriety really don't have a way of dealing with that. You know, you look at the Vulcan who's going to get trapped in or be forced to take Dharmic pillars damage. You look at this Hunbasis one in this Gilgamesh who are wanting to jump in and start off these team fights that can just get ohmed out. Well, this Bologna and this Susano and even the Tiamat of all gods are able to potentially dive into Menaces of Sobriety and fight these long engagements and these aggressive engagements because of their mobility and able to dive off the back of the rest of their team. And also having just Iron Rama as the ADC in the back, it's a very potent team. But we may disagree.
One way to find out.
As you said, there's only one way to truly find out, and that's going to be jumping into this game number one, as we are split. Both teams incredibly strong looking, but it's really going to come down to play and each person on their individual role. And now, Zombie, I gotta ask right out the gate: is there anything weird about these builds that you notice?
I do see a death's toll on the Rama, and you know, I've been playing around with it since the buff to that death's temper, and I I think it's really good. I think death's temper is really good.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Psyches and Dr. Dilf switching roles. Dr. Dilf having played the Hades in the solo lane while Psyches was playing ADC. Now over on the solo side on this Bologna, an interesting choice out of EKDT to swap up their team composition and their player roles that severely. Well, the side Menaces Sobriety going to keep everyone in the same place and not move anyone around. And it is going to be curious on if that's going to be able to make the difference, as Integrity already making an early rotation, but that Ohm able to Ohm out and save his Dr. Dilf, but is not going to save himself. Zaku going to be the one that finds the kill.
Yeah, great rotation there from the Hunbats. Great play from the carry and support there. You know, very early gank, and now you've got pressure, and you've got a small lead already building on this on her. That's nothing but good news.
Yeah, if you're on her, you want to get ahead early and stay ahead, as he's a very potent ADC right now. And I gotta ask, what do you think about, you know, this Dirty Stew item that got picked up on this Ganesh and like on the supports? Like, you know, it's an item that like we do see on the supports, but really does not get talked enough about enough, as it can be incredibly useful throughout these fights. And Vulcan also having it as well,
Yeah, I mean, I
weirdly
think it's
enough.
a very solid item. You know, especially on something like the Ganesh, where you're not making use of Golden Shard really. You know, Wing Shard, not so much. You could make an argument for the Horn Shard, but it's free AoE aura for your teammates, free protections. Why not?
Yeah, the question is, why would the Vulcan be picking it up over that Horn Shard or other items like that?
You know, when you're playing into something like a Susano, you're expecting to get dove, and maybe that's a way that he's thought of to kind of mitigate some of that in this early to mid.
Yeah, that is true. And we see both these mid laners planning on going into those Book of Thoth builds. And right now, it looks like a blue invade on the solo side, and it is going to be stolen by Facetat of EKDT, as that Gilgamesh is going to be without a blue.
Yeah, and that's really tough. Um, you know, uh, on most solos.
Now this suicide fight, Zaku doing a lot of damage. Dr. Delph able to dodge out, and now Claystorm trying to set up for him. Dr. Delph firing these astral arrows through the wall, not able to find the kill, but is going to get the beads off the immovable objects. Continuing to rein in with these autos, but they don't know
Oh
that the
boy.
rotation is here. Menaces to Sobriety are here, and Dr. Dilf has nowhere to go. That roll is not long enough, and Claystorm going to find the death as well. But a cheeky tower shot is going to kill Integrity. Give them at least some assists for the time, but 2 kills more going the way of Menaces to Sobriety.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. The EKDT's duo lane is getting pressured here. Uh, Menaces to Sobriety are applying the pressure early, they're applying it often, and they're applying it hard. Even Vulcan made the rotation for that. Uh, they're going to have to match these rotations or risk Rama falling really far behind.
Yeah, and this just in. Apparently, the plan for Sykes and Dr. Dilf to switch was not intended, as it was a failed trade between the two, and the team just deciding to roll with it. And now you have your ADC and solo, and your solo and ADC. It's going to be interesting how that turns out for EKDT here.
Yeah, role swaps are not easy. Um,
Especially when they're not intended.
For sure. Susano.
Oh, Integrity is low. The Eagles rally gonna go to the backline, find the kill on Integrity. The back off the Gilgamesh not gonna stay and try and help, as this Susano just able to sneak away from the Vulcan ultimate, not able to find its mark. So speedy is now Gilgamesh gonna force out the beads of Duxworthy and able to fail to secure his blue again. It's gonna get stolen away by EKDT. And these teams are fighting, absolutely swinging for the fences right now. Another fight game picked up over this purple buff, as the Summon Sticks ult is going to be used, is going to be able to steal it away. Is the team of Mrs. Sobriety. Dr. Delphin Claystorm walking into a trap right now, are going to fight, but Integrity is here, and that is a monkey with an ultimate. Dr. Delph forced into the Astral Rush, going to find the kill onto Zakari, just to try and secure something, because he knows when he comes down, he is gone and he will disappear. The only one able to get away is Claystorm on this Ganesh, but Integrity looking on the backside still, looking for something, is going to keep him there, but is going to be this Susano of Facetat finding the kill onto Zaku, and this Monkey of Integrity not able to find the kill onto Claystorm, deciding to back off rather than try and face down Facetat. Couple kills going each way. Gold lead kind of getting, even. Like, it's not anywhere in any direction. And wildly enough, it's EKTT that has a 1500 XP lead.
Yeah, you know, I think a decent bit of that lead right now is coming out of Facetat. The last time the boards were up, he had a 2-level lead going over the bats. Now it's down to 1, so we'll assume it's okay. There we go. There it goes back. So that's a decent lead coming out of the jungle there, and on a god like Susano, you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, having a 1.5 to 2 level lead on your opposition always going to give you the opportunity to do very crazy and strong things, especially on a Sasano of all gods, known for doing so much. But we see a 3-man rotation coming in onto this Bologna of Sykes, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one. I think he's going to be forced to use the Eagles rally, and he will use it to get out. And now his potential rotation through the teleporter back over to the duo side if they want to go for it. But instead, they're going for a big invade on the blue while the entire enemy team of EKDT diving onto Rehum. Gonna lose their support for it, but will find the kill, diving deep all the way to the in between the tier 1 and tier 2 to get that kill. And now it is going to be a stolen blue buff the way of integrity.
Yeah, that's tough. That is really tough. You know, Vulcan did everything he could to keep himself alive there. But at some point, if you're willing to dive far enough and risk enough, you can get it.
Yeah, both these teams looking just to fight, diving in so many different places. You know, you really don't expect to see this much aggression out of teams in comp, as a lot of teams like to try and play towards those late games, play super safe. But these teams just wanting to fight, wanting to box, not even caring about setting up for objectives or getting 100% of their farm. They just want blood. I cannot blame them one bit. That's the most fun kind of smite. Look at these solo landers box. That Bologna is a level and a half to 2 levels up and still got put to 3/4 while this Gilgamesh is practically at full.
That's wild. I didn't think there was anything in the game that outboxed Bologna.
Anyways, FaceHack gonna try and make the rotation, try and secure out this meteorite, and is going to be able to do it with the help of his Bologna. And now trying to do quite a bit of damage to Noho solo. Eagles rally is going to come through. The Typhoon as well. A big knock up, a lot of damage. Quarter HP. Ticking. Sasano will find it. Sykes living with a sliver of HP, tanking for that Sasano. Will be able to find the kill under that tower and make it out without a rotation coming in on them.
I thought for a second there that Noho Solo was about to be the subject of an excellent clip.
Yeah, and on the flip side, though, Menaces Sobriety, even though Noho Solo died, are going to be able to get a free Gold Fury here. No rotation. Dr. Dill finally walking on over, but not going to be there in time. You know, not knowing that he need to go into the Astral Barrage quite yet. That Gold Fury is already gone.
Yeah, and that's a great call there from Menaces to Sobriety. You know, you know that the Bologna and the Susano are too far away to contest after the kill onto Noho. You know, they had to back, so you pretty much just get that for free. There's almost no contestion there.
Menaces Sobriety don't know that they're there due to where their wards are. Zaku gonna try and place the ward, is gonna be able to hop out, face that, teleporting in, gonna take 2 tower shots, almost loses his life to the Desert's Fury. A risky teleport in there off that jet stream, almost cost him his life. Gonna try and help his team secure the meteorite. Still kind of lurking, even though he's at such a low bit of health.
Yeah, that was really an unfortunate 3 timing from Susano there. He hit the teleport right on the end of the on her jump and got knocked up for it.
Yeah, and the shield buff will be taken away by Menaces Sobriety there, able to strip it from Dr. Dilf's hands, you know, knowing that they wanted it. And we look at this XP is still in the favor by 1,000 for EKDT, but the gold brought down a bit, only down to 500 now, as Menaces Sobriety's hanging in there. I say hanging in there, they have more kills, but just not finding the farm this game, getting pushed out quite a bit.
Yeah, and you know, that's something you got to do, especially if you're going to play this aggressive style, is get the farm.
A big typhoon is going to be able to come in and kill the Charon. A big meteor is going to be off the mark. No damage from this Vulcan, as now Integrity going in. Jetstream teleports in. He's at 1 HP. He's trapped. The movable object traps him in. And that is a kill for Duxworthy. Able to find the mark onto this bats. Able to get this beacon. And that's a big, that's some chip damage to those towers that beacon now gives. And that is something where you just got 2 kills. You got the beacon. The next place would be gold, but it is down.
Yeah, and at that point, you just have to find whatever farm is up. The pyro is an option. Pyro is up, and you've definitely got the burn for it. You can look to take it here. Charon and Vulcan seem to be positioning and throwing some wards on it, kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but one thing that I can say is I would not be going for this pyro without your ADC and Delph not making the rotation at all. A big fight between Zaku and Delph. The bee's going to come out early. A good roll to avoid the hop. Desert Fury raining through a lot of damage. Dr. Delph at a quarter, and Integrity is here. And that is a monkey hopping over the wall and getting the kill before he goes into that Astral Barrage.
Yep, great rotation from Integrity there. Cleaning up the kill.
Ooh, Eagles rally on to Noho Solo. Are going to expend the Typhoon. He is going to be able to immune it using his set of beads. He still has a quarter HP. Charon is here. A good Dharmic Peerless traps him in. A lot of damage coming through off this Bellona, and it is hammer time as Noho Solo will meet the grayscale, and now it's going to be Rhyhum meeting that hammer as well. Xyxes is going to find himself a double, now looking for another, going on to Integrity here with the help of his support. Is going to silence him out, but is not going to be able to find the kill, as it's now going to be Facetat that is forced to run away as that monkey jumps towards him.
Yeah, that mid tower is going to go down. It had a sliver of health left. I think EKDT have an opportunity to pull the pyro here.
And you say that, and they will. A good start up front using the tornado ability off this Tiamat. But Zaku is here, and so is the bats, and they just don't have the health to stick around. Immediately booking it, trying to get out. And this is going to be a pyro start up by Menaces Sobriety. And EKDT cannot step up, but Xyxes is going to try anyways, and he is not going to be able to steal it, but he will lose his life for this, as there's just everyone here. And Rhyhum gonna find the ultimate onto Facetat as well, getting caught out, getting knocked up, and some sticks. Rhyhum gonna find himself a double on this Vulcan.
Man, that was a very well-placed Earthshaker on the, front side of that. And now with 2 down on EKDT, they have the option to just kind of pull this Gold Fury. But it does look like they're going to contest.
It's crazy that as 3, they're trying to contest this. Gonna be forced into the Astral Barrage early, but is gonna fire onto Zaku, doing quite a bit of damage. The Bat's ultimate is going to go on to Dr. Delph, as he has nowhere to go. Tiamat, Dr. Delph, what are you doing? You're in between 4. You need an Earthshaker and more, and you are going down. 2 more kills the way of the Menaces Sobriety, and now they're going to be able to take this Gold Fury. And please, just stop going in. Stop trickling in. Xyxes, what are you doing? Don't do it, as it will be them going in. They will find the kill on the Zaku, but no, with the Susano face tag here just in time, gonna find a double. Ignore me, keep going, go find more, gonna find themselves too. And Xyxes diving in deep, gonna pop the thorns, looking for the Vulcan, diving all the way back towards this Phoenix, just not quite able to get it off that knockup.
Wow. Well, they got the Gold Fury. So you got the objective. You've got about a 200 gold lead right now. It's something.
It is something, especially after losing 3 now off of Face Tat doing so much work on the Susano during going in off the back of Sykes and just, working so well as kind of a frontline duo, looking for more going in on this bats, pulling him straight towards Sykes, but he's going to lose his life for it. This monkey has no jump, but Sykes has no mana, forced to now make his own retreat.
Yeah, I am not sure, what the plan was there. Facetat went into that very low on health to begin with. Maybe he had the idea that he would just get in and, do some damage to Bats, but Bats had a leap and it did not end up in Facetat's favor.
Yeah, just thinking that Sykes was a little bit closer with that Eagles Rally ultimate, thinking that he'd be able to find the kill, just not able to have that Bologna get there quite in time and just going to be able to pay for it. Is now a lot of damage done onto Dr. Delph by this Vulcan of Raihum, already at half health, and he barely used an ability. I didn't even see a meatball come out there.
Oh, it did. And it did a solid chunk of damage. Vulcan's got that Book of Thoth. He's got the Spirit Deso, the Charons. The damage is getting up there.
And right now, Menaces Sobriety running down as 5, going to take the mid-tier 1, give themselves some more room to walk around this map. And looks like they're heading towards the Pyromancer as it's about to spawn. But EKDT is still here. They are still lurking. And Duxworthy on this team does not have the secure like Raihum does on this Vulcan. But we've seen him do crazy things thus far. And now, but is going to go ahead and use it to slow down that Bats, keep him out of the picture as they're looking for a way into the backlines. Sykes going to try and go on to Noho solo, just doing some damage. A big Summon 6 going to find 2. A big Earthshaker going to hit a 2 as well. Claystorm goes down. Eagles Rally trying to hop out. It's this Vulcan running it down off the back of his team. Able to find 1. Going to force the Astral Barrage out. And there's not going to be anywhere for Dr. Delph to go once he lands. Raihum going to find another. And with that, Dr. Delph in the backlines finally going to go down by Noho solo, almost taking out Zaku, and its integrity, heading them down to just sliver of health.
Yeah, that was a great fight there from Menaces to Sobriety. EKDT led that fight at the Pyro with the Dharmic Pillars, kind of throwing it at the Menaces to backline. They fought through that, countered with ults of their own, got their picks, and now they get a Pyro.
Yeah, Menaces Sobriety able to get this Pyro pretty handedly. I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time, and no, they are not. Gold swinging heavily in the favor of Menaces Sobriety, close to 3K now. But XP is somehow still in the favor of EKDT.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at because Rama's down a level to Anhur, Bologna's down a level to Gilgamesh. I mean, Susano's up a level on Bats, but surely.
And Tiamat just hit 20 before Raihum on the Vulcan as well. So this XP is close, but not quite close enough, as this Rama not quite able to steal that Gold Fury, and Gold Fury going the way of Menaces of Sobriety.
Yeah, Menaces are up about 3,500 gold now, which, I think is the most significant gold lead we've seen this game. It has been neck and neck the whole time.
Yeah, the most we've seen thus far is a grand, and it's just been so close throughout this game. Both teams just playing very confidently and playing very calmly. And it's going to be EKDT starting up this Fire Giant of all things. Face Tat, gonna eat a meatball, is trying to zone. Raven Ward will go out. A couple members of Menaces to Sobriety gonna get tagged. Fire Giant is gonna drop to half, but they are gonna go ahead and back off of it, trying to set up a bait. But it looks like Sykes might be caught out here, going to eat a Honbot's ultimate, but is going to be able to live, still having half health here. Able to, only needing 5 more stacks on his prophetic. Right now, it's this Fire Giant dance that is going to be started here.
Yeah, and EKDT did what they should there. They pulled and baited the fight.
Yeah, Summon Sticks is going to be used. Look where Facetat is, though. Look how far he is behind Menaces Sobriety as they're all pushing forward. Looking for a way into the backlines is going to get caught out on a ward as they're all going to turn around and is going to be able to use the jet stream, use the blink, and get out of dodge, narrowly avoiding the entire team of Menaces Sobriety there.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of those uh-oh moments where, he had that plan to run around there and then found himself staring down the barrel of 4 people and was like, oh boy, I better leave.
Yeah, and Fire Giant is picked up already at a quarter HP. The Raven War coming out, but it doesn't matter. Menaces Sobriety gonna take it. Astral Barrage coming out quite late, and that is a Fire Giant going the way of Menaces Sobriety.
Yeah, Gilgamesh did a spectacular job of zoning, the EKDT team there. A spectacular zoning job, and Menaces just get the fire. Reset, spend some of that gold, and now we should see him look to push for these towers.
Yeah, just a great execution by this team of Menaces Sobriety, able to get that Fire Giant, able to stall out EKDT long enough, push them back to where they could get that practically uncontested. And that is such a massive swing for them.
Yeah, that's very big. Right now, like in your ADC area, builds are pretty even. Neither have upgraded starters yet. Both have 4 items online. Realistically, EKDT do not have to give up a lot here. They're only 3k down. Builds are pretty even. Oh no.
Yeah, and now Dr. Delph going to be collapsed on by 4 of them. Really just having nowhere to go, getting absolutely pancaked by that meatball. And right now, it's now a 5v4 4 Menaces Sobriety.
Yeah, now with the Rama dead, your ability to defend has decreased significantly as far as your chances of a positive outcome. They're going to have to give up these T2s, most likely. They could look to make a soft defense, but they're going for Phoenix.
And the Summon Sticks is going to be coming out with the Earthshaker on top. A lot of damage coming through. Gonna find the kill on the Ducksworthy. And going to be able to find the kill on the Facetat as well. Bird is down. 3 are dead, and that Titan is now getting attacked. Gonna fall to 3/4, fall into half, trying to get the defense, but they're all so low. Ganesh with a big but it doesn't matter. Delph is back, and that is the Titan meeting its maker. Look at the health on these members of Menaces Sobriety. Raihum and Zaku, full HP, while everyone else just so low. Menaces Sobriety able to pull out game number 2.
Yeah, that was a great end call there from Menace. An end call at 26 minutes right now with 3 towers still on the field. That Titan had a lot of health, and they burned it pretty quickly considering. That's one of those calls that you make and you're not positive of the outcome. You know what I'm saying? You make the call, but it's kind of a toss up. They made it, they stuck to it, and they took the game.
Yeah, just their front line doing so good, keeping their carries alive, able to do so much through that. And we see Rahum just doing so much damage in these last fights, pulling out 23k damage in total. And those meatballs were absolutely slapping, as well with the Earthshaker on top of it. It was crazy once this team finally came together and started fighting. And it looked like that EKDT really didn't stand a chance in a lot of these later fights, with the unintentional swap between their ADC and their solo. And those Sykesies did pretty well on that Bologna.
Yeah, what ended up happening was what I was kind of worried about on the desk, with the Vulcan pick, kind of going into the Tiamat, Susano not being able to find a lot into the back line, that on her damage. I now give EKDT the same advice that I gave to the Menaces in the previous game. Get you some secure.
Yeah, and that's one thing that they did not have and weren't able to do throughout that game. And Rahum was able to find that secure, able to do that, which means we're going to a game 3, Zombie.
I'm here for it. This has been a good set so far.
Yeah, both these teams playing incredibly well. And, there's only really one way to figure out that set, and that's by going to game 3. But for now, we're going to head to a break as we get set up for that game number 3, and we hope to see you all there. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for game number 3 in this Vanaheim set between Everyone Knows Ducksworthy is Toxic and the Menaces to Sobriety. It's been a great set so far, and me and Zombie welcome y'all back. And Zombie, we've seen 2 great games thus far. What are you expecting to see banned out, or are you expecting to see picked here for the Menaces to Sobriety, who have the first pick in this game number 3?
Well, I'm looking for pretty standard bans coming across. I don't expect to see a lot change there in terms of what we've seen in the first 2 games. Um, obviously we saw Ducksworthy perform really well on the Toth, saw Rayhum perform really well on the Vulcan. Not imagining either side wants to hand either of these mids Kukulkan or Toth. So looking for them to do much of the same that they've been.
Yeah, and there's only one way to really tell, and that's getting into these picks and bans. I'm fully expecting to see a Hachiman banned out again. I really don't expect this guy to get through. And I also have to agree with you. I think that the Thoth is going to get banned out. Again, I don't think that Mrs. Sobriety really want Ducksworthy back on that pick.
No, and as strong as the pick is right now, and this is kind of what I was talking about a second ago, but this is the second highest division. You have to assume when you're banning into these players, even if you've never seen them play stuff before, you pretty much have to assume that they're going to be able to play it if you leave it unbanned. The stuff like the Toth, the Kukulkan, the Hachi, all of these really strong picks, you kind of have to assume that they can play it. So
yeah, and that is the thing, is no matter how strong a guy is, if there's not a player good enough to play it, it does make it where it can be one of those things that you let slip by or don't ban out. But we are seeing that Thor and Athena banned out. You've seen them banned out every game. These teams not a fan of global and seeming global ultimates, and I don't think I can blame them. And as we expected, Mrs. Sobriety taking that Thoth out of the equation, not wanting to get that back in the hands of Ducksworthy.
yeah, and I do appreciate the Thor, the Athena ban. Thor's in a really good place right now. He's got really great range on that ult. He's got a great kit for these team fights. The Athena, kind of same thing going on there. Taunt with a little bit of cooldown ends up on a 9-10 second cooldown. You've got that global ult, the mitigations. It's just not something you want to deal with. They are banning the Hun Bats, though.
Yeah, Hun Bats seeing play in both games so far. Interesting to see EKDT try and take it away from Menaces Sobriety. They, wanting it themselves, but not wanting to be able to give it away. Trying to get rid of it. Baki Gojira getting banned. No surprise that the whale is gone. And to round out these bans, to be expected, Hachiman getting the ban, getting the axe.
Now, this leaves Kukulkan open, which is... that can be problematic.
Yeah, that definitely can be. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Menaces to Sobriety take, number one. And that is going to be the Kukulkan, as this is going to be get through. And that is secure. That is damage. That is mobility. This is everything that you want, Zombie.
I love it. I love the pick. Even as a mid player myself personally, he's always been one of my favorite gods, and now that he is just so strong in this meta, I'm loving to see the play that he's been getting. That Whirlwind's capability to zone people out of a fight in these jungle corridors cannot be overstated. On the flip side, we got the Charon and the Bologna coming out for EKDT. That's a scary dive.
yeah, Caron Bologna able to use that Sun Sticks and the Eagles rally. We saw in the last game that Summon Sticks ability used so well off of, the Earthshaker. Rahum able to do so much with that Summon Sticks ultimate and make those Earthshakers blow up multiple people on EKDT. And I'd like to see Ducksworthy in the mid lane pick up
Death
another Mortar Mage
awaits.
to try and do the same thing. And we are going to see a Thanatos picked up, the Snowball King, the god of executions, basically. He is here, and he's pretty good right now in the meta at that.
He is, and I really like the Thanatos pick here into the Bologna because, Bologna being a god that is so difficult to fight and to kill, this now gives you the option that you do not necessarily have to kill her, you just have to get her within his threshold.
Yeah, and that is the thing. He does have to be in threshold to get that execute, but that threshold does increase every tick up of that hovering death ultimate. And we are going to see an Osiris and an On Her get picked up for these teams. So far, On Her doing great every single game.
Yeah. Any god with inherent penetration in their kit is going to perform, and On Her has a great kit and inherent penetration. Menaces to Sobriety choosing to ban out the Ravana here, I like. That's going to provide another degree of safety for your Kukulkan, and unlike a lot of gods that try to dive Kukulkan and just eat a 9 wins to the face, Ravana can just immune it. So I really like that ban there.
Yeah, I have to agree. Getting rid of those guys that can really make immunes happen and cause that extra safety. We see EKDT banning out the Aphrodite as well on that same kind of concept, not wanting immunity, not wanting that level of safety. And I gotta say, I like that ban. And also, one thing that we didn't talk about when it comes to the picks, so far in this set, whoever's gotten the On Her has won this game.
That's an interesting bit of lore. Maybe On Her is it. Maybe On Her is the difference maker. We've seen definitely good performances.
Yeah. Just one of those things where in this set, the On Her has made a difference. Both these teams are playing well on this On Her. Both Sykes and Zaku just doing good work on these gods. And I can't say that I'm really surprised as On Her is, the second best ADC in the game, only behind Hachiman himself, who gets banned or picked 100% right now. And, the only other, quote unquote ADC that really does anything, well, they just aren't in the ADC role. They're in the mid lane, like this Marticarus, gonna be picked up as we talked about those Bluestone gods being quite powerful.
Yeah, now, I'll hit you with another statistic, though. The team that has picked Secure has won each game as well.
That is true.
And what I'm looking at right now is the shortcoming of that EKDT draft. They don't have it.
And not only do they not have it, Menaces to Sobriety locking in the Kuzenbo, who is just so good into those hunters that EKDT have. That is looking like a very good pickup into a Bell on her Marticarus right now.
Oh, and by the way, you now don't have Secure, but what you can try to do to secure it, you're going to have to do Blind. As we lock in the X-Ball.
And the final pick coming through for EKDT is going to be a Ratatasker. Getting them, a semi-global ultimate to pair up against that Thanatos. And right now it's really the matchup of, is the on her more important or is the secure for objectives more important? And I know which one you've been harping on this entire set. And I have to agree with you. I think that the secure is going to make a big difference in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the strength that the EKDT draft have is going to be shredding tanks. You've got the inherent penetration on the on her. You've got the prot shred on the Marty ult. You've got the prot shred on the Ratatasker flurry. They are going to be able to kill these tanks very well. However, Kukulkan being on the field changes the dynamic of this match a lot because EKDT do not have secure to match it, and Kukulkan is very, very good right now. I've got to lean towards this Menaces draft.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that I have to agree with you, that the Menaces team comp just looks so good right now, especially when you look at some of the weaknesses that EKDT has. And it's also the fact that their Charon is their only magical damage on this team. Yes, they're going to be able to shred these tanks, but they also are going to really struggle into a Kuzenbo that they can't just blow up. He's still going to be able to use thorns, be able to use his shell to reflect back that damage. It's going to make it so much harder for them. However, as always, there's only one way to find out, and that's by jumping into this game number 3. And right off the rip, we're getting a bit of a pause, getting set up. These teams, going to this game number 3, both these games, the first game going long, the second one being short. Are we expecting this game to go long, or are we expecting this game to go by quick? Do you think this is going to be an early game or a late game win for these teams?
Well, on a shred team like EKDT have right now with the Bologna, the Ratatasker, this kind of dive that they've got going, I think they're probably looking for early pressure and to push a lead through to a win through that. Now, the thing about that's that you're putting your eggs in a, single basket. So I think it may be a short game either way.
Yeah, and you look at Menaces Sobriety having a Thanatos, having this Kukulkan who has just been so strong as of late. Having a lot of opportunities for both these teams to both go early and go late. And we look at these teams as right now, EKDT had to swap out Sykes for Day Dallas, having to get themselves a sub. So not going to be at full strength either going into this game 3.
Yeah, and Rat's making the rotation over, but I'm not sure they secure the kill here. Kuzenbo, difficult to kill at the best of times.
Yeah, but on the flip side, a blink in from Integrity going to target the sub of Day Dallas, already going to be losing his life. Osiris and Bologna, try and true fight, always so close to each other. But with that extra leverage of the Thanatos, First Blood will be going to the Menaces of Sobriety.
Yeah, and that's a tough break for EKDT because literally the last place you want to see First Blood going in a Smite game is on a Thanatos.
Yeah, it's absolutely the last place you ever wanted to go, as just a single kill can snowball this Thanatos out of control.
Yeah, he's always kind of had that potential, and with him being a level or two ahead, the scaling on that side, he Thanatos can run a game.
Yeah, and lucky for the side of EKDT here, they bought 2 wards at the start of this game on this Charon, able to know that Thanatos was coming and say, that 100 gold that was spent by Claystorm going to be enough to save 2 lives there in this early game. Is that Thanatos would have found himself some more kills. Bologna of Daedalus low, even though she is somehow a level up on NoHo solo.
Yeah, I'd say that was probably the best 100 gold they've spent in quite a while, because that could have turned out very poorly.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm going to be honest, I'm very confused how, with the death of Daedalus, how he is ahead on XP over this Osiris that should have been here for every wave.
Well, I'm not a mathematician, but my guess would be that due to the presence of Thanatos, oh my.
What an Eagles rally! It's integrity comes in off the hovering death just to get smacked down with the banner. Daedalus finding himself an insane kill on the integrity there.
Wow.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Well, you didn't have an Eagles rally to save you there. Man. That... Wow. Just wow.
And now integrity on the other side trying to track down Face Tat is going to get Acor stunned out. Rat trying to get his dash back up and is just going to get just in time to not get death scythed. And Daedalus making a phenomenal play to dodge that Thanatos hovering death at the very last second. Absolutely insane. Unfortunate that he stuck around to get killed by the Osiris, just not having anything to deal with NoHo solo.
That was one of the most spectacularly timed things that I have seen in my 11 years playing this game. That was beautiful.
Just
Menaces they're up about 1,000 gold right now, and into an early pressure dive comp like EKDT have. That's really good news for Menaces, because they're waiting for this X ball to come online, for this Kukulkan to come online. Their real early pressure is just Thanatos, and you could consider Kuzenbo, but they're in a really good position considering the comp differences here.
Yeah, we're just right now off to a good start for Menaces to Sobriety. And, one thing we talked about earlier in this set, as Daedalus is going to get a kill on NoHo solo with the help of Face Tat on that side. Daedalus off to a good start coming in off the sub. But, we talked about these builds earlier in the set, this Death Temper, idea versus this Mannequin's Mace. And it is back again as X-Ball going into the Death's Toll, while this on her is going into the Mannequin Scepter shard.
Yeah, and Death's Tolls... Whoa, we have a fight.
Ooh, and Integrity doing a lot of damage to Face Tat. He is going to be able to land the execute this time. Marty into the death from above to avoid the 9-win Serpent ultimate. Just barely going to be able to slip away. And that's a lot of damage coming out of this Marticarus early, having that Crimson Claws online and doing a lot more damage to Rehum than you'd really expect. That tornado kind of looking like it tickled that Marty.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one weak point of Kukulkan. He has great wave clear, but the early damage isn't that wild. You've got to get some items online.
Yeah, and with that rotation coming in onto this duo side, Integrity is here, but Menaces Sobriety just want their buffs, don't want to engage, able to secure out their grade, secure out this purple. But now it might be Integrity
Oh,
in
you're gonna make
trouble,
me do it.
getting ganked by Face Tat, and is going to get summoned sticks, and is going to go down the watery grave, just not in time.
Oh, you got me with a yawn there, and it, oh, blast you. Um, gr- great rotation there from EKDT. Great use of the Charon ult to kind of zone it and confirm. Great play there. They're now up in gold. So for this EKDT draft, that's what you wanted in the first place. Now we're gonna have to see if they can continue to push it.
Yeah, it's going to, I really feel like once one of these teams really catch a footing, it's just going to be off to the races. It's just going to be depend on who is able to find that footing first. Right now, really back and forth, both teams playing very consistent and staying really even. But all it takes is just one fight, one kill. I think this game is potentially going to start getting out of hand.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And when you have characters in your lobby like Thanatos, like Morticarus, it can do it in a hurry.
Yeah, and the rat making a rotation over off the teleporter. Gonna find a son of the Sakari, but not find anything more. Dilf not having the mana to follow up, nor the health. And Facetat taking a lot of damage off that teleport, not really able to do anything with it.
Yeah, and something I was going to mention a minute ago when you brought up the starter difference between X-Ball and the On Her. Death's Toll has always felt very good on Xbalanque, kind of regardless of its spot in the meta at the time. That mana output from the Bola, it can be costly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, due to how expensive his branching bolas is, and the fact that Xbalanque really wants it procced 24/7, and upgrades it over his other abilities, due to the fact that it's both his lane clear and his main source of damage, it really makes it where that ability is so important. But hold that thought as we're getting a rotation, but Osiris going to be able to hop on out. So it's one of those things where him being able to get back that mana, it's so important to him because he is so mana hungry. That's why we used to see most Xbalanques go Transcendence back in the day, but now not really a great idea. But hey, they're going to be able to get this Gold Fury, get more gold online for those items. And one thing that he is building into that I find a little bit strange but interesting is this idea of the golden earring. What is your thought on that,
Ooh,
Zombie?
boy, my thought is that X-Ball is very low on health. Um, you know, it it makes sense. Um, One of the late game strengths of X-Ball is, when you go into that Darkest Night, you have the massively increased range on the autos, and the Griffin wings are going to speed those up by a lot. So, moving into these fights in the mid and the late game, using that ult, that could be the difference between several of these autos connecting or not.
And I'll be honest, I really like the Griffin earrings item. For us ADCs out here who can't aim, it really helps because your auto attack speed is the actual projectile speed is faster. Make it where it's more like a hit scan and you don't have to actually predict and play around your opponent as much. So I quite like the item as it gives a little bit of oomph and speed to your autos.
Yeah, and the thing I was talking about with his ult, it's like with the range increased that much, those autos become that much harder to hit.
Yeah, that is one of those things where it does become a little bit of a trouble. As a big fight going to come out over here, covering death and death from above going to come out. Face that getting blown up. A good summon six to keep him alive, but the NATO is going to find its mark. Right, him finding him one. Delphin's in trouble. The Cuckoo ult off the mark, but it's going to be Menaces to Sobriety going to be able to find one here. Not going to be able to find any more as both teams decide to rotate back out to go farm.
All right, all right. I've got to bring something up here, because even as the analyst, I'm not even sure what to think about it. There's a rage on a Thanatos.
You know, as much as crit is good right now, and that next item I can tell is about to be a Hydra's Lament,
Hydra. Yep.
this man is trying to just crit people out of existence off of a Hydra's proc. This man is a mad lad.
Integrity has just opened up a kitchen in this lobby.
This man is absolutely cooking right now. Already having one stack on this rage, and he will be able to get another here as Dr. Dill's beads are going to come out. A good Desert's Fury, but it's not going to be enough when you have Zaku and Zakari helping you. Now, the rotation from this rat not going to be there in time as Zakari going to use the Watery Grave, keep everyone off the Thanatos and Xbalanque. Is going to be able to have a nice little leisurely walk back to his tower.
Yeah, Rat landed down from that through the cosmos there. He said, "All right, maybe I get a return kill here." And Kuzenbo was like, "No, no, you do not. Not at all. Get away from my squishies." Good, really good zoning by Kuzenbo there. The map state and gold is still fairly even here. Uh, gold difference is only at about 1,000, about 1,300 XP in favor to Menace here. Okay, 1,500. Going in favor of the Menaces here, but that's not that much in the grand scheme of things. EKDT are still keeping it fairly even.
Yeah, it's just the fact that Menaces to Sobriety are 2 kills up right now. But right now they're in trouble as this rat of face tat is here. There is a 3-on-2, but this X ball is slapping right now. And these earrings making it where those autos come out so fast and so quick. That rat just taking 179 off a single auto from the Xbalanque. And this man only has 2 items online right now. What's he going to do when he has 5?
He's going to hit, and for a lot.
Integrity just missing the Death Scythe is going to be in trouble as Charon coming around on the backside. A beautiful blink. That's a rat jumping in. Going to be able to find the kill is Rahum with the help of the tower, but that is another raid stack going the way of Integrity here just because he got the assist.
Yeah, so the item's gonna be Hydras, we know that. And oh man.
Big ultimates going through. Then in this Xbalanque of Zaku going to be able to find him one. Daedalus in the backline finding the support is Noho solo and the rest of Menaces to Sobriety looking for something here in the mid lane. Not really gonna find any kills, but are gonna find themselves a tier 1 tower out of the process.
Yeah, solid engagement there. Noho is playing really well on this Osiris, and just, Osiris doesn't have quite the laning phase that Bellona does. He does get pretty outcleared by her, but Osiris in these later game, mid to late game team fights can be just as impactful.
Yeah, and this Osiris having this Kinsai online already. It will do so much more damage to this Bologna than she can to him. But this rat rotation from FaceTat just gonna be able to stun him out. And now the Hovering Death and the Through the Cosmos both up. Integrity forced to hop out. And but it is going to be a Through the Cosmos on him. Rat going to dash out. Integrity going to try and chase him down, looking for blood on this Rat Tasker. If he can just find the mark, not going to be able to find it. And that is a Eagles rally to the dome. Day Dallas will find himself a kill on the Integrity here. Now, FaceTat and Day Dallas looking to fight NoHo. And on their deep side, it is a 2v1, but they're both so low. But on this mid here is going to be Menaces Sobriety taking home the beacon, while EKDT continue to try and chase down Osiris. Big fight in middle. Watery Grave, death from above, gonna go up. This is a dead. Oh my lord, that Kukulkan deletes him. Kukulkan going to charge in, going on to Ducksworthy. Gonna find himself too. Not speedy enough to get the sneeze. But oh my lord, 100 to 0. Dr. Dilf got deleted.
And that is the risk you run, letting Kukulkan through a draft into the hands of a capable mid.
And
a lot of damage.
With that, Menaces to Sobriety gonna be able to get the Gold Fury here. And we're looking at these teams. One thing to point out is Rehum 4-0-2 on this Kukulkan. We talked about this
Level 20
every time
that.
on the stream on this cast while we're at the desk about Kukulkan being so strong right now. And he is absolutely proving it, getting level 20 before the 19-minute mark and being 4-0-2 right now.
Yeah, you know, we talked about in the beginning how, like, the last place you want to see a first blood goings on the Thanatos. Well, the last place you want to see a stat line like that is on a mid that is this strong.
Yeah, but EKDT are going to be able to get the Pyromancer here, as this fight is going to get picked up. Going to be silenced in. It is going to be pulled back in. Is Day Dallas, as he's going to be able to lose his life to Zaku. Big Osiris ult into the backlines. NoHo going for blood. They are going to land the ult on the Clay Storm. Going to be able to put one, and a big Hovering Death going to be able to come in, bring in Dr. Dill. Now they're going to chase down this rat. Not going to let him get to the Through the Cosmos. Is Integrity going to find himself a double, looking for Claystorm, trying to get him on the lazy back. Is going to be able to. Phoenix blocks the scythe, not able to quite get it. A great blink, a great scythe, but just clips the Phoenix, not able to get the kill onto the Charon. And now, in the meantime, the rest of the Menaces looking for this Fire Giant at the 20-minute mark here.
I can't blame him for trying it. I mean, he had better restraint than me. I would have probably stuck around to throw the 3 too. Menace is going to get this Fire Giant here, and, you know, this gold lead's now pushed out to close to maybe 6,600, I think. You know, several towers still up on the map, so that gold lead definitely has the potential to get a good bit larger. And that's kind of what I expect him to do here, is just clean up these towers, get the gold back, and move on a bird.
And Zakari just wanting to fight Day Dallas with the help of NoHo solo so badly, but are just, you know, gonna get the tier 1. Now NoHo already having Kinsai and Midgar online, able to keep Bologna here. He's going to have to force an Eagles rally if she wants to live, and she will use it. And with the rotation, Claystorm and Ducksworthy are here. No, Solo's going to lose his life over this due to the Summon Sticks and the death from above. Now on the flip side, Integrity in trouble at a quarter HP. FaceTat is looking for something, is going to hit this death side, but those autos are hitting for a quarter of HP. Is Zaku's going to be able to get FaceTat off of 2 big crits from that Thanatos.
I would like to point out that NoHo did in fact get the kill on Bologna in the tail end of that 3v1.
What
Good
an
Lord.
absolute mad lad.
Good
How
Lord.
do you let this man get away with that?
He's Osiris. He's meant to get away with that.
True. Well, now Menaces Sobriety with 3, gonna try and push for this Phoenix on her of Dr. Dilf is not here. Zaku hitting this tower for 213 in auto, and it's gonna go so fast. Duo side bird is down. Gonna make that next fire giant so much easier. A big hit onto Dr. Dilf, dealing 600 damage there. Gonna take him to half, gonna force them to back up, even though they really want to fight. Menaces Sobriety, the 3 with Fire Giant, gonna be able to get out, and now they're gonna be able to get this Oni Fury for free.
Yeah, I mean, they've got probably 70, 80 seconds maybe left on that Fire Giant buff. They're getting the Oni Fury. Presumably they're going to get the beacon. They're backing up to spend this gold, and, they've got a shot at pushing down the rest of these towers maybe. They can look for a fight. They could look for this pyro. They've got a lot of options sitting in front of them.
Yeah, they have a lot of options, especially being 8,000 gold up and nearly 9,000 XP. The team of Menaces Sobriety starting to round out at level 20 and cap out. The only person not level 20 on their team is their Kuzenbo at this point. So they are getting those starter items online, able to already have all of their starter items upgraded. And that is a scary place to be on if you're EKDT, because now that power spike of every single one of those upgraded items is really, really terrifying.
Yeah, you're in the 8,000, 9,000 gold difference territory here. You're talking full item differences. This is where things start to get sticky if you're EKDT.
Yeah, and with the fire giant that they had, using the last 30 seconds of it to get the last 2 towers down, there is no towers left on the map on the side of EKDT, and they still have the bird down on that duo side. It's going to be so hard for EKDT to defend this next fire giant coming up here in 50 seconds.
Well, and I've talked about it 150 times tonight already, but with the secure that Menaces have, this bird being down is really bad. But even if you commit your team up here to try and contest this fire, you get out secured hard. So it kind of feels like a lose-lose for EKDT here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to pick a fight and get a pick to really stop the Menaces from being able to get this fire giant. And if you do that, you have to worry about those Winions pushing down on that duo side, potentially doing damage to the Titan and losing that bird again. But Menaces gonna be able to start picking it up. The only member of EKDT in the area is Facetat. Raven warding it. They know he's here. Blanking pass. Gonna go for it, but it does not matter. Menace is gonna secure it with that Kukulkan ult. And now that an entire team of Menaces has Fire Giant, and there is only 2 birds on the map right now.
Yeah, I think that was a good call from EKDT to not really commit much to contesting that, because it's unlikely that you're out securing it anyway, other than just sheer luck. And so they made the call to push the minions out in the left lane and make a chance at this defense.
Yeah, and now the entire team of Menaces is going to be up on the solo side. The bird is back up on the duo side. Right now, Facetat sitting in the mid lane, looking for it through the Cosmos potentially. The Raven Ward coming through. They know exactly where everyone is. And now is Menaces Sobriety going in. Dallas is going to blow up Zakari, but is Integrity going to lose his life? It's EKDT now running him down through the Cosmos. Is going to come down onto Rayhum or on to Zaku. Gonna come on to Zaku. Gonna find the kill, but it's Rayhum that will find the return kill. Rayhum looking to return to this fight, try and get Noho solo out of here. And that honor of Dr. Dilf is at a half. Can Rayhum find a cheeky kill as he jumps in? He's gonna turn around, not be able to hit the tornadoes. They are slowly making their way towards this Kukulkan and his Osiris. A phenomenal defense by EKDT there, even though they lost the bird.
Yeah, I mean, when you're that far down, any win is a good win. The fact that we are not staring at a victory screen right now is a huge win for EKDT. We do still have fire on Rayhum and Noho, but that was about as good as you could ask for it to go if you're EKDT there. It's like I was saying, they chose to give up the fire and just kind of take their chances on a defense, and they did lose the bird, but they're still here, and that's good.
I have to agree. And Miss is gonna be able to get Pyro, get Beacon, and get gold now. They have all the setup. They're not able to get the game on that go around, but still having time to, on this EFG, having a minute 20 seconds still on Rayhum and Noho solo, having the time to potentially take one another fight or just set up for the next fire giant. Now, one thing I have to point out is, integrity, missing so many sides throughout this game, but having crit, able to do so much with it. I'm going to dive onto Dr. Dilth with his crit, not going to be able to find the kill, but is going to be able to make it out alive. And now it's Day Dallas going to the backline. I speak too soon. The Kuzabo pulls Day Dallas in to just for him to kill integrity. Rayhum and is going to find the kill on the Day Dallas. Now Rayhum going in is going to hit Claymore. Claymore going to get blown up. This Kukulkan getting the NATO on her. Gonna force the Aegis. Aegis not enough.
Oh no!
Ace Tat falls to Noho solo. A big Aegis out of Duxbury will immune that Kukulkan, but it doesn't matter when you get pulled back. That is a DSI, and Menaces of Sobriety going to be able to take this game and take this set.
Very well done. Very, very well done from the Menaces to Sobriety draft. And, if we've learned anything here, guys, pick secure.
Yeah, secure is great as it helps your team so much on those objectives. And Rayhum going 7-0-10, top damage in the game with 32,000 damage on this Kukulkan, showing why Kukulkan is so strong right now.
Yeah, not much more to say there to close this out. Like, great performance from both teams. The Duxworthy squad here, they've got a lot of positive points that they can work on. There's a lot you can look at here and tweak going into your coming weeks, but secure one out.
Yeah, I think, there's a saying in Smite that's I've heard since I first started this game back in season 1. Wards win wars. And we can see that right now. Looking at these wards of the team of Menaces to Sobriety, having 10 all the way across the board, except for Noho solo. While you look at the side of everyone knows Duxworthy is toxic, you look at FaceTat, you look at Day Dallas and Dr. Dilf having 5 or less. I understand that, wards matter and give you, so much insight to what's going on in the game. I think it could have helped them so much throughout that game and prevented a lot of rotations that happened against them.
Absolutely. Hopefully they can clean it up here in the coming weeks.
But hey, that's only week number 3 here, and we're already seeing great matches like this, and they're just so fun to watch. As Menaces to Sobriety, I believe, are undefeated, set wise so far in this league with that win.
It's definitely, it's easy to see why. They've got good synergy. They're drafting good team comps, and they're playing around it well. It's gonna be a tough team to beat moving forward.
Yeah, Menaces were tied for first in the division going into this week. Might be able to take the first position. We'll find out when this week is over. But for now, we got to witness a great set of Smite. And, you know, here at ASL, at IMLC Smite League, I want to thank all of you for stopping by, enjoying these games with us. We can't do this without everyone that plays in them and that comes here to watch them. And I appreciate you all. And we hope to see you next time.